A Deed of Bravery by Jim Corbett. Edward James Corbett was born on 25th July 1875 of English ancestry in Nainital district of Uttarakhand. He grew up spending much of his childhood exploring the wildness that exists around. Jim was interested in hunting and fishing. He used to hunt man-eating tigers and leopards, taking great personal risk since he knew that man-eaters are quite capable of stalking and killing the hunter as well. His sole companion was a small dog named Robin. He fought in the First and the Second World Wars. He also trained troops for the army in jungle warfare and was appointed lieutenant colonel. He was awarded several honors and medals. After the independence of India in 1947, Jim Corbett went to Nyeri in Kenya, where he settled along with his sister Maggie. There he continued to write and make people aware of the declining numbers of jungle cats and other wildlife. He spent the rest of his life in Kenya. On 19th April 1955, a few days after writing his sixth book, Treetops, Jim died of a heart attack. He was buried at St. Peter's Anglican Church in Nyeri. A Deed of Bravery is an intense short story about two young men named Norva and Harriya. Norva and Harriya considered themselves as blood brothers who were born and lived in a tiny village named Almora. They were basket makers by profession. In summer months, they worked in their village, while in winter, they went to Kaladungi, where there is a great demand for huge baskets. They used to collect bamboos from the government reserved forest near Kaladungi to make the baskets. On 26 December 1939, Norva and Harriya set out to the bazaar at Kaladungi to get a license from the forest god to collect a head load of bamboo. As they are on their way, they came to a place of trees and grass jungle, which is also frequented by many wild animals, including tigers. Harriya was leading among the two, and Norva was following him when suddenly Harriya heard an angry roar of a tiger and the shriek of Norva. Harriya turns around, sees Norva lying on his back on the ground and a tiger lying diagonally across him. Harriya then takes hold of the 2 feet of Norva and starts pulling him away from under the tiger. He is able to save Norva from the tiger and eventually gets him to Nalini with his superhuman efforts. The tiger had badly crushed the bones of Norva's shoulder and lacerated his flesh. When they reached Nalini, Maggie wrote to the assistant surgeon, the in charge of Kaladungi Hospital, taunted Norva. Jim Corbett, the author, was out shooting birds when he came back in the evening. Maggie told him all about Norva and how he was attacked by a tiger. Next morning, when the author visits the hospital, the doctor informed him that he has done all he could and had sent him home after treatment and that there is very little chance of his recovery. So the author rushes to the communal hut to meet Norva and finds Norva lying in a corner on a bed of straw and leaves and his wounds showing signs of getting septic. For a week, Norva is in the hut's corner, looked over by his weeping wife and Harriya as well as his other friends. It seems clear to the author that Norva's wounds need to be opened up and cleaned in order to avoid becoming septic, so the author takes him to the hospital. The young doctor does his job brilliantly, and there 3 months the treatment continues, after which Norva along with his wife and children and Harriya go back to their village near Almora. The author therefore wanted Harriya's brave act and Norva's heroism in surviving all odds to be acknowledged by a certificate of merit by the government, but for that the truth had to be shown in by independent and unbiased eyewitnesses, which were lacking in this case. He even wanted to appeal to His Majesty the King, but as the World War had just started, the King was busy with much greater affairs.